Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another high-level Marvel Rivals ranked cast. Today, we have, as usual, a fantastic game for you. We've got some 100 Thieves players. We got one that's nostalgic for me as a player who used to cast a fair amount of Heroes of the Storm. I've got an ex-Heroes of the Storm player who's in these games against the 100 Thieves player, so I absolutely had to jump on with my boy Madara Uchiha, now known as CO2 Madara. Also, if you can hear it, sorry, there are people who've decided that today is the wonderful day to cut trees down outside. I apologize if that is showing up on the mic. For now, though, we have an exciting game coming up for you, but first, a big shout out to our wonderful members who help keep the channel alive. You can become a member too and receive a shout out in every single video that I remember to. I have yet to forget for a while now, but shout out to Puff Mendelli, Doki Pokey, and our longest running member, John. They help keep the channel alive. You can help as well just by liking the video, just by watching it without ad block or with YouTube Premium, leaving a comment to help boost it. The way it works is there is a points-based system, so that's on TikTok as well. Go follow my TikTok on Tetcher is me. But it works on a points-based system. Watching the whole video through on TikTok, for example, is worth about a couple points. Sharing the video with someone else is worth about 5 points. Hence why every single channel with AI tells you you can find out more by hitting share and more. That's why they do that, because if you just hit like copy link, it assumes you're sending it to someone else and you get extra points that way. I don't know if YouTube does the same, but you get like 1 point for a like, 2 points for a comment kind of situation. And once you hit the 50-point boundary on TikTok, it promotes your video past the 300 view count. So go check out my TikTok and help with that if you like. And it's the same with YouTube. Every single thing is a point, and once you hit certain points, it starts pushing the video out to more people. So if you want to help the channel grow, then that's how you do so. Interact and watch the video all the way through. Let's jump on in to our game. We are in Central Park. And of course, as I said, we've got some fantastic players here for you today. Let's jump on in. We have, as I mentioned before, we got Flamay, who we've seen in the past. Fate, we've also covered in the past. Kehmicals, I believe we've covered. We've definitely covered Rush. I don't know if we've cast robanroman before. I think they might be new to me. Also, I've apparently been pronouncing a name wrong, so a shout out to Sinatra? Hang on, check my comments. Correct myself, check myself before I wreck myself. Sinatra or Sinatra, however you pronounce it. It's just a single A. I'm going to assume Sinatra is apparently how it's supposed to be pronounced, not Sintara, like the wrestler that I have been saying. So apologies there. There is the in-video correction, and my apologies. But of course, on the red team, we've got Delenaa and TTK, both from 100 Thieves. So we've got some top-level players here. I'm not too familiar with some of the others, although Flarkin Flops is a great name, considering that Flark has become the sort of MCU equivalent to a certain swear that they filled in. They've made their own swear language, which is very clever. So, Human Torch finally getting banned away. We don't have to observe a Human Torch game for the first time in ages. Hela still on the board, though, to potentially deal with flyers like an getting taken out, leaving something like an Iron Man a little bit more open. Same with the Psylocke. Namor is still available, as is the Hulk. But, of course, the frontline meta, while the Hulk does buff the Namor, and Namor's still pretty good even without the extra squid. We rarely are seeing it these days. We're seeing a lot more players focus onto the Winter Soldier, and the Iron Man is certainly leaping up in terms of priority. So, let's get this going and introduce our players on the left-hand side, on defense, on Central Park. It is going to be the blue team of Rush on the Winter Soldier. Kehmicals will be playing the Iron Man. Flamay is AFK in spawn. We'll come back to him. My boy, CO2 Madara. They will be playing the Emma Frost. They came like, I think, top 16 in Season 1, so big shout out to them. This is a top-level player. Flamay has now selected their character. They are on the Invisible Woman. robanroman will be playing the Captain America, and LFT Fate will be playing the Loki. And on the right-hand side, on attack, it is going to be the red team of Revzi playing the Star-Lord. Smookssy, they will be playing the Emma Frost. Delenaa is busting out that Iron Man. TTK is playing the Magneto. Flarkin Flops on the Rocket. And sigamode? Sigamode? I don't know. We're gonna alternate between on that one. They're playing the Jeff. Poking in a little bit of extra harassment now, though. Blue team with a heavy zone have got a great setup here, completely isolating the members of red team in this entranceway in the Squirrel Girl base. Got a good setup so far. Captain America attempting to break the siege, because the push is starting to come for the red team, so they're just trying to smack it down here. Delenaa off the Iron Man already onto the Winter Soldier. Giving themselves a little bit of extra damage output without having to worry about dealing with the flyers. Kehmicals, Invisible Pulse Cannon coming in. Invisible Boundary will come out as sigamode comes on in, is able to grab only one Winter Soldier. Will take a 1-for-1, but gets revived at the BRB, returning to their team just in time for red team to clean out the objective. Fate, though, has the portal. They're going to try and contest this. Portal again. Holding on point number one, Invisible Boundary immediately dropped by the blue team so they can try and contest this as Kraken Impact is coming out from Delenaa to try and wipe through this, but it looks like they're not going to find the targets and their team has been absolutely wiped here. Delenaa is isolated, being forced to retreat, not landing that bionic hook. Soldier's Fist is good, but it's not enough. Rush bringing out their own Winter Soldier here. Was able to come on in for a counter elimination as Kehmicals immediately begins to siege again. Star-Lord, one of the more reasonable answers to these flyers. The ability to once again get in quite close with a Blaster Barrage. The ability to track the vulnerability frames for those Sky Jewels. There is the Blaster Barrage, trying to deal with Cap, who was putting quite a lot of pressure onto the backline, but robanroman, a little bit too fast to pick up here. Revzi goes for the dual bionic hook for the turnaround, though. Absolutely fantastic. Little pulse cannon blocked by TTK. Beautifully done there. A lot of pressure coming in. Here comes the Psionic Seduction as robanroman is getting pulled in. Trying to get out of there. In comes Jeff. Saiga gets two once again. Just going to run him off the side, not going to take the risk this time, just will get out of danger. Madara falls, trying to buy time for the team. robanroman goes down, and red team are finally going to pick up this point. The Jeff doing some work here. It's part of a double strategist, which we see almost never. Jeff is almost always in the triple strategist setup. So let's actually have a look at how they're doing in terms of healing. 6k healing, which is ahead of Fate, but it looks like Madara was playing strategist for at least a little bit during that first initial engage. 6k is 1k below Flamay and 3k below Flarkin. So they're not doing terribly. They're keeping up as revzi takes to the sky, but Invisible Boundary once again shutting down this ultimate, trying to take out Rush as they exit the Invisible Boundary, showing themselves for just a second is enough as they are taken out. The Kraken Impact for Delenaa, looking for a reset number 2. Big hit, trying to get onto the Iron Man. They find it mid-air with the tainted voltage as they pressure on in, trying to find the third. Forced to retreat, though, bionic hook as robanroman is in the backline. The reset has expired, and that's going to be the pickup onto Delenaa. Shots coming in, trying to slower bubbles to keep the team topped up. Kehmicals, Invisible Pulse Cannon, eaten perfectly there. Zero value out of these Invisible Pulse Cannons, yet everything has been full shutdowns. Fate in full retreat, getting chased down. They've only got Loki. Grabs the map peel. That will be enough to take him out as sigamode takes out Fate once again. robanroman pulled in once again by this Psionic Seduction. Getting locked down. CC, the stun locks are real here, but it's not enough. On about a quarter HP right now, but refusing to go down. robanroman kept up thanks to the healers. Madara. Shields up, creating a little bit of blockage. Allowing blue team to push on up. A little bit of counter setup here. Media M and Invisible Boundary at the ready for the blue team. Kraken Impact, Invincible Pulse Cannon, both on over 90%. On the side of the red team, very close there. Revzi's able to get out of danger, but that Galactic Legend almost at the ready. Delenaa with the Kraken Impact TTK with the Media M, and in comes that Seer committing to this fight. Nice and early, going to try and set themselves up for that extra push, but it is wiped here. The targeting from the side of the blue team as TTK. Media M only going to take out a Loki Clover as Kehmicals goes down before they get Invincible Boundary here. Invincible Pulse Cannon, sorry. Kraken Impact from Delenaa to try and wombo through. Not finding the finishing blows, but numbers are still in their flavor into the back line, going to try and take out Fate. Kehmicals arrives back from spawn as well, and that is going to be Delenaa taken down, respawning at the BRB. Revzi waits out the Strategist ultimates. Media M as a pseudo-Strategist ultimate is enough to take him down. Kehmicals! Invincible Pulse Cannon finds nothing, and with the Psionic Seduction, they're pulled on in. Saiga does not find the target they need, but they've bought enough time as that's going to be point number 2. Creeping on in, piece by piece. Roman, stun locked out, kicked off the point, but is giving it their entire body, their entire life to buy time for their team as that card is so close to the end, and overtime is ticking down they go, but that's giving time for the portal to come on in as Fate brings their team to the fray to hold it back with less than 5 minutes to go. We're seeing the hyper-aggressive push out of blue team creeping on in, but that is a lot of grayed out portraits as they're trying to buy time. Roman arrives again for their second delay. Looks like they're going to abandon it though. They know it's over. They let it go. They back up.
These come in real handy.
Nicely done. Rush, giving it a little switch up here. Gonna bring out the Storm. Not seeing that too often these days. Let's see if this works out for him. A little bit of a speed boost, damage boost now. Trying to keep that damage on the Star-Lord. They take them down, the Flyers together. Doing some very good damage so far. Trying to take out Revzi again, who came back at the BRB. Trying to keep the pressure on them from above, but they're getting targeted down by Star-Lord so often. Kraken Impact from Delenaa, looking for the combo, but is taken down here as Rush continues the pressure. Invincible Pulse Cannon finally finds a target. Smooksy is taken down. I think that might be the first Invincible Pulse Cannon elimination of the game. And with time running low, red team are forced to try and portal, which means they need to protect this Strange because there is a big set of zoning. Saiga got a double here. That's going to open up the defenses a little. In comes that Omega Hurricane onto the objective to try and break the attackers. Does big damage, but is taken down. We're seeing red team creep on in. They've got members on the point. Smookssy with that portal exactly when they need it. Sigamode keeping them topped up, giving themselves time. TTK. Trying to deal with Roman to make their way in. Invisible Boundary comes out from Fate to allow them to step onto the point. Flarkin with the Seer. Media M to try and find the target. It is blocked beautifully here as in comes the Assemble. Roman trying to make their way in. Fate healing from the firing squad up on the side. The Galactic Legend expires, finding no targets. It might come down to Smooksy. I'm about a force push sent back packing all the way to the point. Invisible Pulse Cannon finds nothing. Delenaa is wiped off the board. Flamay with the second Invisible Boundary off to Fate's God of Mischief one. They're holding the line as best as they can as that point is starting to run out of bodies. It's only TTK left and they will fall. That is going to be a hold at 2.89 meters and 31 centimeters.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're on. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Heading on in to round number 2. Let's have a look at the stats as we swap sides. We have 9 final hits being what would normally be a pretty high amount, but being taken out by Kehmicals here with 11 final hits, 25 eliminations. Doing good work. Least amount of times getting eliminated, Flamay with 4. TTK also with 4. Both of them keeping their team up in different ways. Looks like we're adjusting to triple strategist here for the red team with Revzi moving over from the Star-Lord over to the Adam Warlock of their own here, allowing Delenaa to pick up the Star-Lord. A little bit of a mix-up here, a little bit of trust, but we're still sticking with that Jeff for sigamode. It's been doing pretty okay. They've been getting eliminations. They've been getting healings. Actually, have a look at those healing numbers. 17k healing. They're keeping up with Fate, and the fact is, that's good enough. Not as much damage, though. This is definitely a more healing-focused Jeff. Portal right off the bat here. Oh, what is this? They're trying to prevent a retreat here. There was a portal set up, I think, in that doorway, but I think it got cancelled. So I don't think we got to see that full setup here. Rush sieging in with this storm. On the attack, trying to go a little bit aggressive here. Jeff wiped out, but gets a double elimination of their own here. And red team been able to create a little bit of a containment in the same way that blue team did in round number 1. Lots of pressure. Going to use the clones with that Emma Frost. Make it a little bit harder to target the right one. Here comes the Omega Hurricane for Rush. Going to try and get into the backline, and we will certainly see Revzi get taken down here. Visible Boundary comes out, but it's not enough. Down goes the Rocket, who tried to sear their way through that with that extra overhealth, but it was not enough. Down goes the Storm. And that was most of the healing ultimates going to be utilized, meaning that Kehmicals could go for a blow-up here. But bad news, Fate has disconnected here. Delenaa getting melted. Portal comes out from TTK to get the team back onto the point so they can try and delay this. With the Pulse Cannon takes out Revzi once again. The staggers are constant here. Jeff finally gets taken down, revives at the BRB. Delenaa, Blaster Barrage, but no cocoon for them as the timer begins to tick down. Blue team are giving everything in their power. That's a great Karmic Revival from Revzi. Brings back 4. Keeps the team top. Cosmic Cluster getting harassed by that cap, though. Holding on to it, Media M from Madara, point blank onto the fish. And they're trying to take down Jeff, but it's not going to be enough on the finishing blow as the Sonic Seduction comes on in. Madara, multiple shields, buys the time. They're able to tank on through. Quick retreat. Now time to re-engage. Fate has rejoined the game. They have everyone here. TTK has that Eye of Agamotto. The big stun lockdown. Ready for their opportunity. Fate with the invisible boundary from that God of Mischief, giving the team an attempt to try and push on in as the Seer gets wiped out off the board right away. That's going to be an Eye of Agamotto. Only one stun out here. Omega Hurricane to take out Flarkin. And that's going to be blue team pushing on in. They seem to have a pretty solid position right now, but down goes Storm. Flamay with their own invisible boundary, but holding onto it, believing that they have this locked down. sigamode is taken down once again, and point 1 is picked up by blue team. TTK swapping onto the Magneto. Not going to stick with that Doctor Strange that gave them a little bit of extra protection, but again, force push. Flamay shutting down the ultimate. Trying to just keep their flyers topped up. 2 flying healers. 2 flying DPS, sorry. robanroman just moving through, absorbing a load of damage like Atlantic Legend, doing quite a bit into the backline. Onto that Adam Warlock, the only one without mobility. Getting focused down though, dropped low, forced to retreat. Doing some good damage. Such a satisfying sound on this skin. If the Hellfire Gala skin wasn't so good, I would be rocking this. Revzi Cosmic Cluster. Psionic Seduction coming on out. Invisible Boundary to try and buy that little bit of extra time. The Seer came out as well, but none of them are able to really find an engagement. That means defensive ultimates have been used for a Mega Hurricane. The shield comes out. They try to buy time, but it's enough to take out Smookssy and Revzi as Rush is cleaning up here, showing that Storm still has a place every now and again. Karmic Revival comes on out, gets the double revive to try and give them a chance to hold at point number 2, getting knocked back by Magneto. Invisible Boundary giving the team space to move on up. robanroman into that backline. Absorbed beautifully with the Media M, completely shutting down that Invincible Pulse Cannon. Kehmicals trying to siege onto the Shark. It's in the backline, no ultimate. Just trying to do damage, trying to get rid of the Invisible Woman by dropping that extra damage. Here comes the Seer onto the backline to keep the team topped up. Looking for Invisible Woman, needs one more shot. Finally gets the pick up. Fate unable to land any of the healing. Fate almost goes down as well. Galactic Legend capitalizing, will pick up the eliminations here. Getting multiple people, even some Loki clones to clean out the defensive point here.
Only 60 seconds left.
1 minute to go. Red team holding on to the lead right now. Their defense looking solid. Ultimates, Madara with 73% is the closest to ultimate here. Except for Rush, who is already charged. Such a low cooldown. Coming in, Omega Hurricane, more as a setup than anything else here. Maximizing their time so that they can try and dive through and exist through that Soul Bond from Adam Warlock. But the damage output is good with the Wind Blades taking out delenaa. The damage output is wonderful here. Gets Flarkin, but will finally fall. Invisible Pulse Cannon takes out Smookssy. TTK is trying to absorb, is trying to take the damage, but the damage output is just too strong. And blue team, with seconds to go, take point number 2. And it's now a game of distance. With 1 minute 30 to go. They need to get 89 meters. They are already at 16. Forcing the map transformation here. Jeff has the It's Jeff right away here. Might try and just use it early as a Hail Mary. Try and buy them a little bit of time, but no, wiped out here. The value of this Storm, the fact that the damage is consistent AoE, that you don't really have to target. robanroman locked in there. With that Psionic Seduction, the Seer comes out, the Seer is taken out. They are once again shut down. Karmic Revival at the ready, as is It's Jeff. Visible Boundary already being dropped by Flamay. Fate going to be having to drop the second one if they time it well. Media M from TTK tries to find Kehmicals. Not able to do so, but Kehmicals will still fall. And that's a double! TTK with the pickup here. Madara dropped down to double-digit HP, but was still able to stay up, backed up, waits for their team. 23 seconds left. Rush takes down sigamode once again. Here comes the Omega Hurricane. Soulbond already dropped. It's absorbing so much damage, but it still expires. Smookssy and Revzi have both fallen here, losing so much of that defensive capability. The card is continuing to move on in as in comes TTK trying to block it, but no one is left. The cleanup there on that last push. Every time they comboed some of those big ultimates together, they crashed on through. And that is the value of those big defensive ultimates, like, for example, that Invisible Boundary. While the Seer can do so much and Soul Bonds can do only so much, waiting it out was Rush's genius play here, giving them the extra time to make sure that they at least waited out some of the Soul Bonds and got that extra damage. As such, we are seeing that in the damage numbers, but we will get to that. 52 eliminations for our MVP Rush. 24 of which were final hits. Just ahead of Kehmicals with 46 eliminations and 23 final hits. This is a much higher elimination game for the blue team than the red team. But red team, they still had those moments of brilliance here. least amount of times getting eliminated. It is a two-way tie between robanroman and Madara. Both doing work for their team here, but you can see they both also absorbed quite a bit less damage than Red Team. 46k and 47k damage blocked compared to the Vanguards for Red Team, TTK and Smooksy, who absorbed 58k and 52k, but they also were taken out more. TTK taken out 9 times, and Smooksy taken out 13, almost double either Madara or robanroman, aka almost them put together. So quite a solid difference here. Also higher damage output from the Vanguards of the Red Team with 30k and 28k versus the 21k and 27k of the Vanguards for Blue Team. Most damage done, though, is going to be going over to Rush with 35k, beating out the 32ks of both Kehmicals and delenaa. After that, 30k for TTK, still showing us just how strong a good mag can be. We've already talked about damage blocked here, which means we go over to them strategists. And the Rocket, of course, did do pretty well with only 1,000 damage. They are all focused very much on healing and got 50k healing. 8k more than the next highest, which was Flamay, who was MVP for a while. They got 42k. 32k going over to Fate. There was a short amount of time where Madara was doing the strategist healing, getting 27k. Not bad in the grand scheme of things for the Jeff, getting 26k. And they also got 14 final hits. That's when we see the difference here. Well, they only got 9k damage. Compare that to Flamay, who also got 9k damage, but healed almost double their healing output. They did get the finishing blows. Problem with that is they did get less finishing blows than they got eliminated. So that's the priority. Did the Jeff achieve what they needed to? With 14 final hits, but getting taken out 18, at least several of those were self-sacrifices in order to try and take people off the edge. Did it get the value they wanted? That is the question. Let me know in the comments if you think that the Jeff value was worth it, or if you think it might have been worth a slight adjustment. For now, though, that's it for today's game, and today is the 14th. It's the day I record this, which means it is a Wednesday, I believe. So, yeah, we like these. Sorry, I just had to do a quick look up at something. So, I hope you all enjoyed today's games. Reminder that if you enjoy my content, then subscribing, liking, and commenting really does help. We're about 19 subscribers away from the 5,000 subs I said I would start live streaming on, where I don't expect a lot of viewers at the live stream, but if you want to pop by when MRC starts, for example, then you can see, or the Marvel Rivals Ignite. If the games are public for that, I'll be trying to cast those open qualifier replays. So if you're in them, let me know, and I'll jump on in and say hello. Cast a game, perhaps, would be fun. But you can also help support the channel by supporting the news. I released a video called Rivals Esports Recap, where I'm going to be every week creating a little news video about all of the esports news that has happened in Rivals last week. It's the longest amount of time I spend on all of my videos per week. It takes multiple days to do because I have to write the script, film, edit, all of that myself. I have a solo project over here. It's hard to do, and I already expect the views on that to be lower than my casting, because it's a little less accessible. There's a lot less people that care about just general esports news than just want an entertaining video. But it would still mean a lot to me if you went and checked it out, because the amount of effort I put into it, it would mean a lot. So go check out the Rivals Esports Recap. It would make me happy if you did. I am sweaty. Sorry, everybody. Also, I'm pretty sure you can see that once again I have a yellow box behind me to deal with the fact that my green screen is eating my squirt of lemon shirt. For now, though, thank you everybody very much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.